All right, everybody, welcome back to another video here on Financial Friends. Today, we're going to be discussing saving versus investing, the differences between them, why you might want to do either one, and of course, the big elephant in the room, inflation, and how that impacts your decision. So, if you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Hit subscribe to join the friend group as well. We've now surpassed 1,100 subscribers, looking to continue to chug on. Of course, I want to monetize this channel so I can save and invest some of the funds that come from it. So hitting that button does greatly help out that mission. Let's go ahead and dive right into the video. So, at its most core level, saving and investing. You take money, you put it in a savings account, an interest-bearing deposit held at a credit union or a bank. It simply sits there, does absolutely nothing for you, and continues to collect interest in a good way. Builds up slowly but surely. And I have this little line here because, of course, over time, it will continue to grow in value. It will never lose value because it is simply just cash money. That's it. An investment, on the other hand, is an asset or item acquired with the goal of generating income or some type of appreciation over time. The chart down below you could see is up and down, and of course, over the long run, hopefully eventually up. But that investment is subject to loss. It's not going to consistently go up, it's not going to consistently make gains, and it's not only going to go up in value, at some point, it will depreciate in value. Now, if we want to take a look at saving and investing from a little bit more of a holistic standpoint, why might you want to save money versus invest money? Well, if you're looking to save money, you want to keep that money safe. You don't want anything to happen to those funds whatsoever. You do not want it to be subject to any type of loss of value or risk. In that case, something like saving for school or a down payment on a home, an emergency fund that you're storing just in case something were to happen, and maybe some gifts or things for the holidays. If that's all within a year, you don't want to lose those funds. Investing, on the other hand, is something that can be done for 5, 10, 15, 20 years plus down the line. Retirement is something like that. Future or current income, aka you're looking to generate some money via dividends. That could, of course, be current income. Future income being maybe something for retirement, or again, building up a dividend portfolio that you can leverage over the course of the long term, but you're not so worried about its current value right now. And then also, again, very distant savings goals. So let's say you're trying to fund a down payment on a vacation home when you're 50 and you're currently 20. Stashing money away in a savings account while it gets eroded away from inflation probably isn't going to be the best choice for you. If that decision is 30 plus years down the line, which a vacation home when you're 50, saving for when you're 20, it's obviously 30 years away, investing those funds, again, over a longer course of time, could be beneficial for you, but of course that depends on your risk tolerance and particular situation. Time frame obviously plays a huge role in that. Now, if we're looking at what a savings account or investing those funds can do for us in terms of that gain, that APY gain or that investing gain, you can take a look at the current rate for a savings account. Average over the course of an entire market, it is 0.16%. Now, obviously in high yield savings accounts, if you're familiar with what's happening with interest rates at the moment, you can get up to 3% or more on particular accounts. The one I use is Ally Savings. I have videos on it, but of course, there's more information out there if you just do some Googling. But they are paying over 3% on their savings account at the moment versus the current APY that's out there over the course of all banks and credit unions, at least gathered by a source, is 0.16%. Now, if you're looking at investing money, over the last year, you would have lost 13.34%, which is not 0.16 APY. It's also not 3% APY. So, of course, if you look historically over the last year, investing your funds is probably the worst option in terms of returns. Now, if you take a look over the last 5 years, which again I mentioned that investing is not for something that is within the last year, you should be looking 5, 10, or 15 years down the road, you would have achieved a 49.78% gain. That's much more than you ever would have got from putting that money in a savings account. And the historical return since the S&P 500 was created is 11.82% a year, meaning that over the course since the inception of the S&P 500 or the top 500 largest companies in the United States, 11.82% is what you've been able to achieve year over year. It's not going to happen every single year, but as an average, year over year, it was 11.82%. Now, if you take a look at inflation versus saving versus investing, you're going to see a couple of stark differences here. From 2010 to 2022, roughly, you would have seen that saving money would have got you anywhere between 8.78 and a 2.1% return. Where do those numbers come from? Those were the ranges on different CDs over the course of that period, meaning from 2010 to 2022, depending upon the year, or the amount of years, I should say, that you wanted to lock away your money and the year that you would have made that move, you would have been able to achieve anywhere from 0.78 to 2.1% APY. Over the course of 2010 to 2022, inflation was 36.67% as a whole, meaning again, if you would have done nothing with your money, it would have lost from 2010 to 2022, 36.67% of its value. Now, of course, we're looking at these numbers on a year-over-year style basis, but the point is still made. 0.78 to 2.1% on any given year, locked up for maybe 1 to 5 years, is not quite the same as over the course of those 12 years, losing 36.67% of your purchasing power. Investing those funds, of course, is going to earn you a much more substantial return at 326.72%. Now, again, these exact numbers are not necessarily the point of this video. The point of the video is demonstrating that on a short-term goal, 0.78 to 2.1% is going to be perfectly fine. Historically, average, of course, the inflation rate has been about 2% or so, so you might make a little bit if you lock it up for a long period of time, and you might not make anything, you might actually lose value. But if your goal is within the year or 5 years out, you're probably going to be okay having a little bit of that purchasing power eroded because you cannot have the risk of the stock market. On the other hand, if your goal is 10, 15, 20, 30 years away, you probably want to accept that risk of the stock market. 326.72% gain on your money, of course, is outpacing inflation and actually making you money. Now, if we take a look at saving, inflation, and investing again, but this time in a more little particular stance. From 2012 to 2013, it demonstrates exactly what I was trying to tell you. A 1-year CD rate, if you were to purchase and lock up your funds on 1/1/2012, would have yielded you 1.15% over the course of that year. The inflation rate, or the CPI number, on January of 2013, meaning from 2012 to 2013, year over year was 1.6%. So you lost 0.45% of your money locking it up for that year. The S&P 500 from 2012 to 2013 gained 10.63%. Now, of course, that year it could have been negative. That's the risk that you are running when you make an investment. However, again, if we were holding our money long term, these numbers just continue to compound. That S&P 500 gain gets larger and larger and larger. CPI probably floats within that acceptable range, although now, of course, again, rates going up because inflation is going absolutely bonkers. But that 1-year CD rate could fluctuate a little bit, but it's never going to outpace, at least in general, inflation or the stock market long term. And of course, we make our point one more time that saving is not investing. You cannot save your way into retirement, but you can save your way into a goal. Remember, if that goal is short-term focused and you're avoiding the risk. At that 0.25% APY mark, over the course of 30 years, a $5,000 investment or savings account is going to grow to $5,389.38. Now, if you're getting the 3% that's available now, which again is not normal, at least not for long sustained periods of time, that's why we include the 0.25% example, your $5,000 is going to turn into $12,138. But again, using the average, which was 11.82%, being a little more conservative on that, knocking it down to 10%, you'll see that a $5,000 balance invested in the market at that 10% rate is going to yield you $99,187 over the course of 30 years. This is going to be a lot more beneficial to you if you're looking to retire on these funds versus the $12,138. So, If I left anything out, if you're a little bit more confused than you were before the video, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. Me and the Financial Friends community will do our best to get back to you. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you learned something new. If you did, share what you learned down below in the comment section, and I will see you all in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Content posted daily TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. I'll see you all. Have a great one.